In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the GXL MAX, which is an electric scooter with daily commuting in mind. It's made by a company called Hoverfly, which is an electric mobility transportation company that's based out of Dallas, Texas, and they specialize in electric scooters, e-bikes, and mobility scooters. I'm going to go over the assembly process, go in depth on the features and specs, do an acceleration test, a braking test, a hill climb test, a range test, and a review on how it rides. So let's check it out. The GXL MAX comes in your standard scooter shipping box, but is pretty heavy, so make sure to be careful when moving, and if possible, have someone help you move it. After opening the scooter, it was assembled about 90%. All you have to do is remove all the packing materials and then attach the handlebars. To install the handlebars, you first need to remove the 2 bolts on the red hook. Plug in the 3 wires from the handlebars to the scooter, insert, and reinstall the bolts and the hook. The last thing you have to do is install the brake cable as well. All you have to do is insert the brake cable into the lever and pull the hook in. It is a little tight, so it might take a little bit of effort. The whole process only took me about 10 or 15 minutes, with most of my time being spent installing the handlebars and the brake. It is a pretty easy scooter to put together, with the only issue I can see is if someone isn't strong enough to install the brake. When I went through the scooter, all the bolts were tight, all the welds were nice, the brakes felt good, and it powered up no problem. So the GXL MAX is powered by a 300 watt brushless front hub motor and has a top speed of 15.5 miles per hour. The battery is a 36 volt, 7.8 amp hour lithium ion battery that's stored in the handlebar stem and has a claimed range of up to 18 miles in a single charge with a charge time of 4 hours. The GXL MAX comes with a pretty decent braking system, with the brake lever activating both the rear disc brake and an eABS brake in the front. The tires are 10-inch solid tires, which have the added benefit of not having to filling up with air or getting flat tires. For safety and increased visibility, there's also a headlight, a tail light, and a bell. The dashboard has a very simple and clean display design, with a single button that shows your speed, battery level, and if your headlight is activated. The GXL MAX has an overall length of 46 inches, a wheelbase of 34 inches, a handlebar height from the ground of 44.5 inches, a handlebar height from the deck of 38 inches, a handlebar width of 17 inches, a deck length of 23 inches, a deck width of 6.75 inches, a deck height from the ground of 6 inches, ground clearance of 4 inches, and a weight of 33.7 pounds. And when folded, the scooter measures 41 inches by 17 inches by 15 inches. So for the acceleration test, I want to check the acceleration to the top speed of 15.5 miles per hour. Here's how it went. Here we go, testing the acceleration of the Hoverfly GXL MAX to the top speed of 15.5 miles per hour. The scooter does require you have to kick it to about 3 miles an hour for the motor engages. So we're gonna do a little kickoff. Ready? And go. 10. Top speed, wow, okay. That was really good. Wow. So the results of the acceleration test is the Hoverfly went to 0 to 10 miles per hour in 2.78 seconds, and 0 to the top speed of 15.5 miles per hour in 6.34 seconds. Now the GXL MAX might not have the most powerful motor on the market, but it is really smooth, quiet, and surprisingly quick up to the top speed. It actually makes me wonder if Hoverfly could have actually increased the top speed to about 18 or 19 miles per hour, since it seems to have more than enough power to get to 15.5. For my next test, I want to check the hill climbing ability for the GXL MAX, which Hoverfly claims is a 10% gradient. So I found an 8% gradient hill to test on. Here's how it went. Here we go. We're testing out the climbing ability of the Hoverfly GXL MAX. On the website it says it has a 10% climbing ability. This hill is about 8% according to my watch. And we are going 15 miles an hour up this hill pretty easily. Wow. 14 and a half. 14. 13 and a half. And we're at the top. Wow, that was easy. Okay, so I just tested out the GXL MAX on an 8% gradient, I apologize. So now we're gonna test it to see how steep it can actually go. So I'm using my Garmin Fenix watch to test out. Right now, we're doing 11 miles an hour. Oh shoot, it's getting steep. Just a heads up, this hill is actually 14%. And we're doing 8 miles an hour, 7 miles per hour, 9 miles an hour, hello. Okay, we're at 11% gradient right now. It's still climbing technically, but it is not gonna make it. 5, oh, okay, there it is. So with this test, the scooter did really well, up until the point it hit about a 10% gradient, when it slowed down significantly. And around 11 to 12%, the hill got too steep, and the scooter crawled to about 4 miles per hour. But overall, I was really impressed with the hill climbability of the GXL MAX, and more importantly, it looks like Hoverfly did in fact test the scooter out, and the 10% claim is 100% correct. For the next test, I want to check out how quickly the Hoverfly would stop from 2 different speeds. The first was from 8 miles per hour, which might seem a little weird, but this is the top speed allowed at my local boardwalk, and I anticipate that some people might want to ride this at the beach. So with that thrilling display of speed, the GXL MAX stopped from 8 miles per hour in 4.25 feet. Lastly was from the top speed of 15.5 miles per hour, which the scooter did in a very impressive 10.5 feet. And I have to say that the braking performance of the scooter was really good. There's minimal drama and the braking felt stable and strong. Next, I tested the speedometer accuracy compared to a GPS app. So while riding around the scooter, it showed 15.5 miles per hour, while the app was bouncing back and forth between 14 and 15 miles per hour, which to me means the scooter is going about 15. Based on this, the Hoverfly is only about a half mile per hour off, or about 3%, which I think is pretty good. Since the GXO MAX is labeled as a commuting scooter, other than power and range, one of the most important features to me is ride comfort over an extended amount of time. So Hoverfly claims the GXO MAX has an estimated range of up to 18 miles in optimal conditions, and I've ridden a lot of scooters on this channel, and I've never had a scooter go the advertised range. Typically most scooters I've ridden only provide around half of the advertised range. This is probably due to more of my weight, not riding on perfectly level surfaces, and I never ride around the slowest speed setting. So what I did is to ride the scooter on the beautiful Silver Strand Bikeway in Coronado, California, which is a bike path that's located between Imperial Beach and Coronado here in San Diego. I really enjoy testing here due to the bike path being separated from the main road. My daughter loves riding here with me, and it's absolutely beautiful. So on this test, I rode the scooter at whatever speed felt comfortable at the time, usually between 13 to 15.5 miles per hour. This path had me riding along the San Diego coastline, enjoying the beautiful scenery, and even riding along some of the bike paths near Crown Cove, which is a great area where you can ride your scooters or bikes, along with other activities like paddleboarding. It was so much fun, and the GXO MAX was performing great with its smooth and composed ride, and the best part being, I was able to enjoy it all with my daughter. After about 45 minutes or so, I finished my ride, and I'd gone about 9 miles, and I still had 2 out of 4 bars of the battery left. I did drain the battery later on in the day in my neighborhood, and the scooter was able to get about 15 miles out of the battery, which I thought is pretty incredible since it's only 3 miles lower than the advertised optimal range. So overall, I'm extremely happy with the Hoverfly GXL MAX electric scooter. This scooter really surprised me in how much fun it was to ride and how powerful it felt. It feels well made, and compared to other solid tire scooters I've ridden, this one has a much smoother ride. I think this is due to Hoverfly opting to use 10-inch tires. The other thing the scooter does exceptionally well is the braking. The brakes are super strong, and more importantly, it's very stable under braking. But one thing I really didn't touch upon too much was the cruise control, which is activated by holding down the throttle for 10 seconds, and you can turn it off by hitting either the throttle or the brakes. It worked extremely well, and I'm really glad I had it during testing where I had long straightaways. And if I had to have one critique, it's that I wish the scooter went a little bit faster. It has a decent amount of power, especially on flat ground, and I feel this scooter could easily go 18 to 20 miles per hour. If I had to guess why it doesn't, it's probably due to the electric scooter speed limit laws here in the US, where many scooters have a speed limit of 15 miles per hour in the cities. It's definitely not a deal breaker, it just would be nice to have an option of unlocking a higher top speed. But when it comes to the actual performance of the scooter itself, I don't have any complaints. So in conclusion, this is a great scooter. I'm extremely impressed with it. It's light, it looks good, it feels quick for its motor size, has good brakes, and it's just really fun to ride. So hats off to Hoverfly for having a solid commuter scooter that doesn't break the bank. But if you have any questions or have a GXL MAX and you want to share your thoughts, please leave them in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great one.